Hello, class, and welcome once again to Language Arts Time. It's so good to be back here with you. Even though I can't see you, you can see me. So, good. Hello, Leah. Hello, Richard. Hello, Michael. Hello, Logan. Hello, Nick. Hello, Lily. Hello, let's see who else. Nia and Naomi and Emma and Skylar and Alice and Chloe and Camden and Colin. Have I missed anyone? No, there are a couple of us not with us anymore that we had throughout the year. There was Liam, there's Reagan, and they're actually doing other things, other places. Hope they're well too. And let's hop right into our language arts time. Let's not forget how to use lie, lay. You know, just listening to the correct way will help you learn it. Just hearing it over and over. So for example, if you lie down, you will feel better. Say that. That book has lain there all day. Did you repeat it? He laid his pencil down when he finished. Mary lay down for a nap this afternoon. Tom was lying in his hammock when we arrived. He will probably lie there until supper time. He lays his coat in the same spot every day. He laid his lunch money on his desk. Spot has lain on the couch all morning. Must be their dog. He laid the saw on his workbench. All right, and just hearing those will help you. Now let's dive into some penmanship. And here we are with our penmanship book. I just want to show you just a couple letters. Again, I don't want us to slide backwards in the formation of our letters especially. And we're going to go back to Q, which can be a troublesome letter, R and S. All right. Now see how I that's from last time. You like that Pinocchio that I drew last time. See how I can pull this back and I can get it in there. Nice. That's where the perforated edge is to that page. Pull it back nice. You can get it in there and then you can see through, because Q's on the edge in your book and you can trace it. Just like I did, I traced it and I went just like that and traced it right onto the paper. Then I did the lowercase one. Notice the direction that I'm going with that. Then I transposed it down. I'm not sure if that's the way you should say it, but I made it smaller anyway. And I start there and I went around like that. And then I wrote the word queen. So I would like you to do that too. Just write the word. Notice, just like that. And write a row of QU and then the word queen. And Queen Anne, I think I wrote a sentence here. Queen Anne quietly, notice the small Q. Quietly, then dot your I, cross your T, is how I did it. 8, A, T, E, period. And I'm just tracing over what I'd already written, but Queen Anne quietly ate is a sentence. Now I did the same thing with R, where I traced it, I found it, you know, and I traced it just like this. Notice the formation of small r, lowercase r. Then I wrote the word Richard because, guess what, Richard, your name starts with an R, so I just did that. And so does mine, actually. So I can go up down, up, and then I'm just going to notice how it comes out there a little bit and then it comes back slightly, bows back, and then just go and you will write his name. So do a row of R, and I like the word Richard because it has a big R and it has a small one. So does the word Robert, by the way. And then, so there's Q, R, S. Notice the size. Now, I traced it from looking through the paper, and yes, it comes up and goes up into the line there, but make it so that you start on a line and it's all right. And that's just to get the flow. I wish it were the same size, but it's not. Then you can go here and do your own. Just like that. There's a capital S, and we're going to write the word Sally this time. And make sure it's nice. And so do a row of that. So have 3 rows. It won't take but a few minutes. Make it neat. We didn't do our small s, so notice how S is, and notice about what the size is. Notice it connects right there. How many times do we, I see that a lot. So don't do that. Do that. And do a super job with your writing. Remember, whatsoever you do, do it heartily as unto the Lord. All right? So now let's, tongue-tied. Let's briefly look over our vocabulary words. Ready? Bothersome, together. Irritating, causing problems. Bothersome. Brute, a beast. Brute. Curiosity, a desire to know something. Curiosity. Delicate, soft or light, easily broken. Delicate. Desire, to want or long for. Desire. Flounder, to struggle awkwardly. Flounder. Haphazard, not planned, casual. Haphazard. Havoc, great destruction. Havoc. Idle, not busy. Idle. Profit, the money left over after costs are covered. Profit. Okay? And there you have those words as well. Those words that will show up in your reading, I should say, and know what they mean when you come across them. So how have you done with your reading? Have you enjoyed your reading stories? Have you been reading them? I know there wasn't a video yesterday because you had a test, and so we didn't have a language arts video. So we're just going to go over a couple stories and ask you if you know the answer to the questions to see if you remember what you read. Let's see, I'm looking on page 329 where there are some questions at the end of your story that you wrote about Moni and his goats. In what country did Moni live? What country was it? You should have said Switzerland. That's right. Lots of goats there. And what was Moni's job? What was Moni's job? And of course, he was to gather the villagers' goats, wasn't he? Take them up to the mountain, take care of them in the mountain. And they grazed there on the mountainside. And why did Moni lead the goats up to the 3 dragon stones? Why? Well, I skipped a question, didn't I? Look at number 3. How can you tell that Moni enjoyed his work? Well, when he was working, he was singing, he was enjoying the scenery, he whistled joyously, and so from that you can tell that he enjoyed his work. Now, number 4. Why did Moni lead the goats up the 3 dragon stones? Well, it had the best or tenderest grass, and the bushes grew there too. And so that was a good spot to take his goats. And the last question, how did Moni know that something was wrong with Maggie? How did he know? What was the problem? Number one, he couldn't find her, and her mother was acting strangely. And so he knew from that something was wrong. Then you went on and you read about this. I stood alone in the Persian and his sons. The Persian and his sons. And on page 333, you have some more questions. The father called one of the sons honest. What did that son do? It showed he was honest. Did you say that he delivered the jewels without keeping any for himself? Yes, he did. And that showed honesty, didn't it? The father said that one of the sons did his duty. What did that son do? He did what? Something very noble. Did you say, saved a child from drowning? Something like that? That's right. That was very much doing his duty. Doing your duty. If you see someone in danger, your duty is to help them, right? Do you think the third son deserved the pearl? Why? What do you think, Michael? Do you think the third son deserved it? Colin, what do you think? What do you think? Again, it's a what do you think question. And I think most would. Said, Father, as I crossed over the mountain the other day, I saw a man who had done me a great wrong. He was sleeping near the edge of the dangerous precipice. Notice the word precipice, a steep cliff. We'll be talking about that. I would have walked by without a word, only something within me called me to go back and awake him, lest he fall over the precipice and be killed. I did this, knowing all the time that the man would not understand and that he would be angry with me, as indeed he was. My son, cried the father, your deed was the noblest. To do good to an enemy without hope of reward is indeed the noblest of all. The pearl is yours. And there's the answer to the question. What do you think? Yeah, do you think the third son deserved the pearl? Why? Why would he deserve the pearl? The others did well. The others did a good job. They did something noble. Well, the one son does something honest, right? He was honest. That's deserving of something. The other one saved someone, right? That was noble. But the third one didn't have to do that. And saved, Jesus said, love your enemies. He saved an enemy, right? And that was the noblest. If you see someone drowning, of course, you should. And so that was the noblest of all. What is true nobility? Read about that too. Hopefully you did that. And for the next time, Robinson Crusoe, a very famous story. You should all enjoy Robinson Crusoe. So you read that story, and I will ask you some questions about that one for the next time. If you've gotten behind in your reading, please read it. And again, I would say read, read, read. And I found the ones that read a lot are the ones that are better readers. And the ones that maybe struggle more with reading, if you're someone like that and if you are or not, you just have a hard time. You tend to be maybe someone who doesn't like to read and doesn't really read very much. And we should all love to learn to read. Learn to love to read. Maybe find a book or find a story that you really like, and you'll be more likely to want to read. And so please do the reading. It's really important. And throughout the summer too, do your reading too. Well, let's hop into some more language at this time as we're reviewing some things that we've learned already. So today we're going to be looking at page 259 through 261. Even though it's 3 pages, the second page especially will not take you that long. You're simply crossing out Yeah, you're crossing some things out and adding punctuation. But before you do that, page 259, put the marks of punctuation. Let's not forget our punctuation and those sorts of things, okay? And you're going to be underlining things. You're going to be putting commas. You're going to be putting quotation marks. What do we put quotation marks around? We put quotation marks around shorter things like poems, an article in a newspaper or magazine, right? Something that's smaller. Bigger works like books, the name of the magazine, the name of the newspaper, you know, those sorts of things. A ship, right? Those get underlined. Okay, so don't forget that. Commas, items in a series, of course, you're putting commas after those. Apostrophes to show ownership. Who's this? Whose house? Who's this? You know, all of that. And putting apostrophe. So we have something like mother. To make it show ownership, you can put apostrophe S. All right? Apostrophe S. And then on paper, write sentences for numbers 1 through 5 on that one. You'll come across that in the directions for the bottom of that page. And so write sentences. So don't forget, write E on 259. Make sure you write on paper. And before we do that though, and I hope you've watched the video so far and didn't just turn me off, I want you to notice something in your book. Then we'll go on and we'll do that. You'll do it on your own, but I want to draw your attention to something in your book. In the back of your book on page 269, turn there right now. For 5th grade, you must know these. So don't forget, if I say, what are the stated being verbs? Am, is, are, was, were, be, been, been. The helping verbs have, has, had, do, does, did, shall, will, should, would, may, might, must, can, could. Do you still have those memorized? Say them. Am, is, are, was, were, be, been, been, have, has, had, do, does, did, shall, will, should, would, may, might, must, can, could. Good. Did you get them right? So that's on page 269. In the back, you have this handbook. Then, look what else you have. You have the personal pronouns, all right? Don't forget those. Look, I, you, he, she, it, we, they, me, you, him, her, it, us, them, my, mine, your, yours, his, her, hers, its, our, ours, their, theirs. Notice the subject pronouns, objective pronouns, and possessive pronouns. These show ownership. These can be the subject of a sentence. And these are the object, meaning most often they come after the verb, but usually, or after in a prepositional phrase, after the preposition. They're the object of the preposition. Speaking of prepositions, do you still know the prepositions? Ready? Aboard, about, above, across, after, against, along, among, round, at, before, behind, below, beneath, beside, between, beyond, by, down, turn, except for, from, inside, into, like, near, off, off, on, over, past, since, through, throughout, to, toward, under, underneath, until, up, upon, with, within, without, upon, with, within, without. And so, do you still have those all memorized? You need to know those. You need to know what a conjunction is. What are the conjunctions? Another list. And, but, or, nor, for, yet. And, but, or, nor, for, yet. Say them. And, but, or, nor, for, yet. Good. And so you need to know those. What is an adjective and what are the adjective questions? Look, do you see where I'm zooming in there? Questions are, which one, what kind, how many, how much, and whose. And again, these are found on page 270. See? See that? Then go to page 271. The adverb questions. Where, when, how often, to what extent. And so know those. Now, all of these things that we've talked about, what is a strong interjection? And what is a weak or mild interjection? Wow! Exclamation point. My, this is a lovely day. You know, it's not strong. The word my, or, you know, not as strong. Okay? And so that's what that means. Some missed that on our last thing I think there was a quiz on that. Right, so then go back in your book and find page 259. Yes, find page 259, and we're going to do, whoops, sorry about that. We're going to look at the writing. Notice that there's going to be writing skills and thinking skills, and then there's going to be a write D up there. Try not to show you too many of the answers, but let's change views here so we can go over this together. So go ahead and do page 259. You should be able to do Think D, where you're underlining things, again, putting quotation marks, putting commas. If someone's speaking, put quotation marks around what they said. Put a comma inside the quotation marks if it says, said Sally at the end of the sentence, or whatever it says. Songs get what? Quotation marks. So remember, something you're singing is a song. Look at page 260. Again, capitalize words and put quotation marks and this kind of thing. The names of people, the names of a particular place get capitalized, and you should be able to do that. And parents, look over those and see if there's a particular thing that they're missing, since I'm not there to see every paper. And normally I'd be walking around to see what we're getting right or wrong. Page 261, write a proper noun for each one and write A on 261. So a magazine, Wildlife in North Carolina magazine, or Our State magazine, you know. The name of a student, okay, it's a particular one. The name of a boy, the name of a mountain, Grandfather Mountain, whatever. All right, think B. Plural forms. Bunch, remember, ends in a CH, you add what? ES. If it X, ES. Z, right, ES. And go back to those rules to know how to make something plural. Mouse has a different form, doesn't it? It changes. If it ends in an F or FE, you might need to change it to a V, depending on the word. So don't forget that. And words that end in O, if they're musical words, just add S, okay? Sometimes you add ES, and don't forget the rules on those, all right? Then in Remember C, you're going to use notebook paper for that one. So make sure you're right. The ones where you have to use notebook paper are really important, because those are ones you're writing a sentence. So don't forget, you do need to do that part too. So don't go to your parents and say, oh, I did it, and it looks like all the blanks are done, but you didn't actually do the writing part. Do the writing part. It's really important that you know how to do that, and do that for the practice. Make a list of all the action verbs you can think of in 3 minutes. And this is Remember C on page 261. Are you looking there? So there's two parts. On notebook paper, you're going to write the being verbs and helping verbs like we did. Am, is, are, was, and so on and so forth. Then the second part of Remember C is to make a list of action verbs. So you can set the timer for 3 minutes, and you go, sit, jump, run, drag, shoot, dash, right, lift, fall, and list as many action verbs as you can think of on your list, and see if you can do that. Hey, if someone wants to send me a message and tell me how many you thought of in 3 minutes, oh, let's have as many people. And that's one more thing for you to do, parents. I don't want to put anything else on you, but maybe some of you children are at the point where you can ask your parents if you can send a message saying, I found this many verbs in 3 minutes, and then I'll see who the winner is, who found the most, however many tell me. And we could have a little contest to see who found the most verbs in 3 minutes. And I'll have something for you maybe. All right. Think D. Think D. Underline what? It says underline each pronoun in parentheses. I'm sorry, in the sentences. And so remember what the pronouns are. We went over the pronoun list a few minutes ago, right? What are they? I, you, he, she, it, me, you, they, him, her, it, us, you, that, all of those. And so you're going to underline pronouns. Underline each pronoun in the sentences. Include pronouns that are used as adjectives. So his coat. You still underline, even though that's technically, it's used as an adjective, it is on the pronoun list. So go ahead and still underline them. All right, them. I just used one, didn't I? And number 2, circle the antecedent for each pronoun. What is the antecedent? It's the word for which a pronoun stands. So, Johnny is tall. He grew 3 inches last year. Wow, he grew a lot. The antecedent is Johnny, is referring to the word he in those 2 sentences. You know. So Johnny is tall because he grew 3 inches. He and Johnny, right, are all, they're both referring, okay? So he is the pronoun, Johnny is the antecedent. So know how to do those 2. Do your best and have a wonderful day and be looking for the next video.